Hey guys, next up in our F1 2021 setup videos is the USA, and this is a favoured track of both Lewis Hamilton and Danny Rick, and for good reason, because it's extremely fun to drive. It's a track which is always going to require a compromised car setup. The first sector is fast and flowing and requires both bravery and a very balanced car. Then you have the huge long straight of the middle sector, and finally the last sector is tight, twisty and technical. But when you hook it up just right, this is a track which is extremely fun to drive and very fun to race around, and the AI always goes strong around here. But let's jump into the setup and have a look and see what we've got. Starting with the aero, I've done something a little bit different compared to most of our F1 2021 setups. I've gone with a higher front wing aero of 8 and a lower rear wing aero of 7. This is primarily because you need a good front end for that last sector, otherwise you're going to understeer horribly. Essentially, if you can point your car in the right direction and get the front turned in, the rear will follow and not cause too much trouble. This allows us to run slightly less rear wing aero without too much worry about oversteer moments or loose rear ends. During my testing, I did run slightly higher wings of 9 and 8, which allowed for slightly better turning and more stability, but did hamper us down the long straights, meaning it would be tricky to overtake during a race. For the transmission setup, I've gone with a reasonably balanced on-throttle diff. A lot of time trial setups run the on-throttle diff very high, but I found lowering it down to around 77 helps with acceleration out of the slower corners, without too much loss of traction. We can't run it too low though, otherwise we will hamper our acceleration through and out of the faster corners. And then go with the usual low off-throttle diff around 57% to help rotate the car into the slower corners. And then the suspension geometry follows a similar setup style to most of our other setups, with high front camber, medium to low rear camber, and then low to minimal toe. So go with -2.6, -1.6 on the camber, and then 0.07 and 0.2 on the toe. This is designed for both stability, responsiveness, and help prolong the tyre life during a race. For the suspension, I've gone with a soft suspension setup, again pretty usual for most of our F1 2021 setups. This will help the car ride over the curbs, especially through the first sector, where you've got the really fast Maggots, Beckett's, Chapel style complex, as you'll be driving right over those curbs. So go with 1 and 3 on the suspension setup. And then for the anti-roll bars, again I've gone with a stiffer front anti-roll bar and a softer rear at 6 and 2. This is completely different to all of the time trial setups that you'll find at the top of the leaderboard. However, having a stiffer front anti-roll bar will really help with stability through the race, which is crucial for putting in solid, consistent lap times. And then go the ride height of 3 and 7, which again is set up for stability. For the brakes, go with our usual 97% brake pressure and then 57% on the brake bias, which gives it a nice balanced setup. I've gone with tyre pressures of 22.6 on both fronts and 23.1 on both rears. The lower front tyre pressures will help soften the car over the bumps, and the higher rear tyre pressures will help with stability. And that will do it for our F1 2021 USA car setup. As I said at the beginning, any setup will be a compromise around here. I've prioritised a fast first sector and sacrificed ever so slightly on that last slower technical sector by running slightly lower downforce. As for me, this produced the best overall lap time and helped me compete down the long straights for overtakes by running a lower downforce setup. If you like this video, if it helps you out or you enjoy the setup, drop us a like, leave us a comment below, let me know how you get on because I always love to hear your feedback. And why not subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell to be alerted for when our next F1 2021 setup video drops. See you on track, guys.
OK, DRS is now available.